up, guys? We said we'd bring it to you, so we are. It's the
We made it in real life.
Where Art Thou Exodia deck profile. So
Now,
go for it.
we're actually kind of sad we lost some valuable members. Sangan, of course. Bye-bye. And then we lost 2 of our 1 days. They did not want us to have our 3-day weekend of peace. Now we get, like, our Saturday morning of peace, and that's it. So, that definitely, I mean, hitting those definitely hurts the viability of the deck. But still decent deck. Still fun to play. So, of course, we have our Exodias, our nice secrets. And then, so the main draw engine, we use the card, Where Art Thou? We'll actually mention that for a second. So, if you control a face-up level 1 monster, add 1 level 1 monster from your deck to your hand. All the pieces, except for the head, are at level 1. And then during the end phase of this turn, take 2,000 damage if you did not normal summon the added monster or card with the same name after activating this card. Now, you can either, if you activate these on a turn you played 1 day apiece, then you don't take the damage, or sometimes it's okay to take the damage because we do run the Hope for Escape trap card. And while, like, Jarell's famous build focused on, you can also look at me sometimes, instead of just a table. Instead of using gift card like what Jarell's build did to do the difference, we also, I mean, that is effective in dealing damage yourself and increasing the spread. So the main draw engine, we run 17 level 1 monsters, I believe. So 3 Mystic Piper, and then what Piper does is you tribute it to reveal 1 card, and then you add it to your hand, and then if that card was a level 1 monster, you gotta draw another. So you can potentially +1 up these, and then you recycle them with Yugioh. It's a spirit monster, and then when it's summoned, you can get a card, a level 1 monster from your graveyard and special summon it. So normally you'll go into Piper and use its effect, or if you have like a Fader or a Scarecrow in your graveyard, you can use this to get it back and then maybe Exceed, or just, yeah, have fun with it. So
it also returns to your hand during the end phase,
yeah,
so it's recyclable.
Right. So if all you need is kind of 1 Piper in the graveyard, and then if you can stop this from getting solemned or something, just keep recycling it every turn, and that's kind of the main draw engine. And then for stalls, 3 Battle Fader and 3 Swift Scarecrow. Fader is nice because it leaves something on the field to either soak up another attack or to be used as an Exceed. But one thing to be wary of, this can be stopped by Solemn Warning, although there's now 1 less of them. Scarecrow is basically unstoppable. And sometimes a good strategy for beating a deck like this is to get out a monster with Piercing, and then just screw with the Battle Faders. So,
Gaia Dragon, guys.
Gaia Dragon. And then 2 Cyber Valleys. It's an interesting card. You can use it to stall by playing this, and then when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this to draw a card. Or if you have 2 monsters on your field, you can, during your main phase, you can banish this and the other monster. So if you want to recycle like a Battle Fader, so you just banish both these and then draw 2. Or this is the only way to get cards back from your graveyard. So if you banish this card and 1 card from your hand, you place a target in your graveyard on top of your deck. So if somehow a piece goes bye-bye, that's the only way to recycle it. Of course, 3 Where Art Thou's. It basically, essentially, you're running 7 pieces of you're running 7 limbs, just because these they're essentially, you get a limb. 3 Upstarts, one of the best draw cards in the game, plus adds to life point differentials, pot of dualities,
Don't
and then
do very much special summoning.
That single 1 day apiece now. So what I actually did to my build, instead of, so to replace these, I added in 3 Threatening Roars, which used to be in the side deck. That's the biggest thing about 1 day is not actually the drawing, it's the fact that you can stall for a turn. And when you're playing this deck, it's rare, it's pretty rare for you to have an excess number of traps, because you have so many monsters, it kind of, your hand will get clogged up with pieces. So let's say you have 4 pieces, you can only have 2 defensive monsters in your hand at every time. So having something that when you draw it, you can then set to free up more space in your hand is great. Because if you get off a big Hope for Escape, you're gonna at end phase have to discard like 2 Battle Faders to get under the limit. So then the 3 Hope for Escape, 3 Reckless. If you can wait and then combo them. That's amazing. 3 Legacy of Yatagratsu, and then the 40th card is 1 Jar of Greed. The reason why I'm only running 1 is just because there are other cards that do it better. This is just a simple +1, or a simple +0, so it's only 1 draw. So, and you always run the full amount of Legacy before you even put in 1 jar, just because of that small little effect that if they control Spirit Monster, you draw 2. Side deck, basically the only thing you're going to go into is Slacker Magician. It's useful, so once per turn this card cannot be destroyed by battle, so they need something. They need 2 monsters above 2100 to destroy it, and then during either player's turn when a card or effect is activated that targets this face-up card, detach 1 XE material, negate the activation, and destroy that card. So it can protect against something like a BLS or Chaos Sorcerer. 1 Galaxy Queen. I really don't like going into this, just because, I mean, yes, it can stall for 3 turns, but, I mean, it can get removed from the field easily. Baby Tyragon. The only monster, I mean, besides Pieces and Kinka, no level 1 monsters even have any attack. So Baby Tyragon's useless. It's just Baby Tyragon. And then the secret card, Master of Oz. That's what really makes the deck run. So side deck. In some ways, this deck is a little harder to counter than something like the Jarell build, which is based only on traps. Because with this, you have a combination of traps and monster effects. So you have to be aware to stop both. I mean, something like a 1 Royal Decree won't completely shut you down because you can still stall with monsters. So, but the worst matchup easily is Dark Worlds. That's why we run 2 Gemini Imps. That's basically all you can do to stop Dark Worlds. It's a horrible matchup, but I won a couple games off of them. I won Swords. Basically, they'll target it with their MSTs, and it's just great because if you can get 3 turns off of it, I wouldn't run more than them because you don't want to. Because if you hopefully you draw through the deck quickly, so you don't want to have 2 of these in your hand at any time. So 3 MSTs, get rid of Royal Decrees, basically. My favorite side deck card are Soul Takers. This will get rid of Adolka. Adolka really shuts this deck down. Thunder King 2, although not with Sangan gone, it's basically Thunder King just shuts down Where Art Thou, but Soul Takers are great, plus it's added to the life point differentials. The 2 jars. 2 skill drains. These are actually really useful for something like a wind-ups, or because basically the card that you almost end out siding the most is Kinka, just because they'll get smart and they'll start like Solomon Kinkas to first get down your life points and then to get rid of it. And so something like a Piper, which resolves in the graveyard, isn't affected by this, so that's good. You have a Soul Drain more for Dark Worlds. And then 2 Scrub Raids. These are really useful. So during the battle phase, send 1 card you control the graveyard, except this card to end the battle phase. So you can have something, so if you have like a Yada, you activate the Yada, and then you activate Scrub Raid's effect to send the Yada before it leaves the field by being activated, so everyone's happy. So, yeah, it's an interesting Exodia build. We like Where Art Thou. It's a cool card. It's a funny name. We never thought we'd actually put it in a real deck. In fact, we took some of our copies of Where Art Thou and we stuck it on some random cars that we saw in the parking lot a little while back when we first bought Return of the Duelist special editions. So, even the most seemingly useless cards can have a purpose. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Like Master of Oz.
Dude, Master of Oz, best card ever.